What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Astro Vibe Show. My name is Malik Harris.
My name is Demo Vision.
Mackie Tocini.
And this is the Astro Vibe Show, where you come to
Vibe with the tribe.
Today we are watching How Powerful Are the Champions According to Lore. League of Legends video. We had a little bit of a break because Arcane killed us. But we also were just reprogramming all our different shows and stuff like that. A lot of things ended. We finished like Solo Leveling, Chainsaw Man, Arcane.
Yep.
But anyway, we are back now with a whole new roster of shows and things like that. So if you guys want to check those things out, a lot of anime, comic book, geek culture stuff, hit that subscribe button. We actually also got a gift from a very nice viewer and fan.
Ooh, we don't know what it is.
We have no idea what it is. He sent it. It says that it came from Poland. I think he's from the East Coast though. So, and he shall rename or
be named anonymous.
Remain anonymous. That's the
But shout out to you though, man.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate you guys.
For sure.
Gifts are dope. This is actually our first official gift we've received, which is very appreciative. Appreciate you guys. We will open that up halfway through the show though. We are not going to talk too much longer. We're going to jump into this episode and then we will pause as we go through because a lot of lore. I'm going to be taking notes and whatnot just because NECRIT is always educating us on things. I want to go research other topics and whatnot. So
yes.
Shout out to NECRIT.
And then also we have all our cinematic videos that we've been going through. We have went down the list. I think we just filmed like 2-3 cinematic videos. So if you guys have any more recommendations for cinematics that we haven't watched, you guys can check that out. We just went through
the other.
Yeah, we went through Path of Ionian, Kin the Stained Blade, Feeding Frenzy, Fiddlesticks, Ruin King, Call of Power, All That Will Ever Be, Promise, Urgot, Annie. You know what I mean? We just knocked out a lot of stuff, and then we will be going through Jin, Aatrox, Silas, and Darius here pretty soon. So if you guys have any other ones that are, very recommendable, then let us know. We appreciate it.
Or a movie. I mean, not a movie. A music one.
Music video?
Yeah. We haven't even got to the music videos yet.
Not
We have
even
a whole list. But we are getting there, y'all. We're getting there. And we're probably going to end up doing the World's 23 as well, because a lot of people have recommended that. So, yeah. Appreciate y'all. I'm honestly excited.
We have talked about a lot of different topics and we have made a lot of different top 10 lists. We have ranked champions based on their lore, even though that video is outdated now. We have talked about the most powerful champions according to the lore. And then we did it again after Riot retconned their old universe. And we even talked about the weakest champions according to the lore. But we have never ranked every single champion based on their power in the lore compared to each other. So, that's what we are fixing today. Today we will rank every single champion based on their power in the lore, but there is a slight catch. We will be ranking what their power can be measured as. Or if you want to make that comparison, we will be judging their power level. But power level doesn't come only from combat. Lilia is a good example. If Lilia fought Set, Set would probably snap her neck. But that doesn't mean that Lilia is weaker than Set. She is still a spirit born from the dreams in Ionia. Her power level is much higher than the other Vastaya. So when we talk about this list, remember that we are boiling the champions down to a single number. We will be calling that the power level. However, if one champion is above the other, that doesn't necessarily mean that the higher one would be able to take down the lower one in combat. Power doesn't always come from fighting. With that said, we will not be taking into account political power. Swain is one of the leaders of an entire empire. That should give him a massive political influence.
Glad he specified
but that kind of influence on other people is not necessarily his own power. It's just that the other people trust him. Or are forced into trusting him. So we are focusing purely on the individuals. Lastly, I understand that a lot of people will have their bias. We all main some champions. But even if you main a champion, just understand that maybe your main is not that powerful in the lore. Just deal with it. And to make sure I didn't have any bias and this list is as fair as possible, we spent 4 hours on stream moving around the different champions to strike the perfect balance. There still are some champions that are debatable, but we will talk about these as we get to them. So now, without further ado, Since we have more than 150 different champions to talk about, let me try to briefly justify the placement of all of them. Looking at this list, understand that the ladders don't matter. It doesn't matter if a champion is S rank or A rank, what matters is the placement compared to each other. That's why, instead of using this kind of list, we will be using this kind of list. This has all the champions on one list compared to each other. And even though this looks very complicated, it is very easy to understand. The most powerful champions are at the top, the weakest at the bottom. And in each row, the most powerful is on the left and the weakest is on the right. However, we still have 5 champions at the very bottom which don't have any lore. Or even if they do, the lore tells us nothing about their power. This is mainly the Voidborn, Corki, who was only ever mentioned in a cinematic, Shaco, who really just doesn't exist, and Amumu, who is just a legend. We have no idea what's happening with him. So now, finally, let's get onto the list. From the video...
Perfect little brief point. And by the way, we do know that this list is a little bit dated, so a lot of these things are subjective. Like, I know that Jinx is on here, and this is before Arcane Jinx. I think, yeah, all of this, I think, is before Arcane in general. So, with Jinx getting her new power-up because of Shimmer and all these different things, that's going to change things. So, we are aware of that. We don't know how much it's going to change things, so if you guys want to educate us on what characters you think would be moved around and why in the comments, that would actually be great, because then we can take this video, take your guys' comments, and mesh them together into like a new updated perspective. So yeah, post in the comments, y'all. Appreciate you.
Where we have ranked the weakest champions according to the lore. You may remember that the old crowned king of the weakest champions was Draven. Draven is an entertainer who is a good fighter but who lacks some real training. That's why he used to be the worst. But ever since then, things changed slightly. First of all, the new crowned king of the weakest champions in League is Seraphine. She is literally a person who can hear your thoughts. The end. I wonder how that's gonna protect her from the blade of an axe. But above her, instead of Draven, we have Jinx. And there's only one reason why that is the case. You see, Jinx is just a crazy person with a gun. Jinx is the Florida man of Runeterra. She is certainly dangerous, but compared to all the other magical creatures on this list, she's really not that strong. And the only reason why Draven would be able to beat her is because very recently Riot tried to give us some context as to how Draven works. His problem used to be that when he throws away his axe, he can't get it back again. But Riot tried to argue that he has more axes hanging on his belt. Now, I don't know how massive his belt is, or how many axes he can actually have on his belt, but you know what, that's a good reason why Draven could be at least equal to Jinx. So it really doesn't matter which one you think is weaker, these two are just the worst. Not as bad as her though. Above them we have Annie. This may surprise a lot of you, but remember that Annie has no real idea how to use her power. The only thing that ever happens to her is that when she gets scared, Tibers comes to life to save her. And that's all that ever happens. Unlike what she does in the game, in the lore she doesn't really know how to cast spells. It just randomly happens. Then there is Twitch. Twitch's advantage is that he's a mutant. He can get wounded and then be fine the next day. And he has a really deadly crossbow, but that's kinda where it ends. The one who would be able to beat him is Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is really strong when it comes to his physical form, but he does have his limitations. He's a machine, so if people know how he works, they can easily abuse him. And also, his moral code tells him that he shouldn't be harming people. Above him, believe it or not, there is Cassiopeia. And that's for one simple reason. Cassiopeia never does what she's actually doing in the game. In the lore, all she ever did is strangle people with her snake tail. However, we should mention the fact that she did petrify someone once. There was a story where she was stressed and she screamed so hard she turned someone into stone. So she does have some abilities, but first of all, it is her curse, she doesn't know how to control it, and we simply don't have that much info on what her abilities are about. She simply needs more lore. But at the very least, she really doesn't have the ability to summon snakes. Spitting poison is the only ability which I would understand. Then there is Echo. Echo is kinda shady because yes, the ability to manipulate time may sound really powerful, but it has a catch. Yes, with his device he can slow time for a brief moment, and then for quite a while he can't use it again. But that is the stronger ability. His rewinding time is even worse. He can only rewind like 6
crazy.
seconds back.
What
And
comic is
he
that?
can only do it if he is alive. So one bullet in the head and Echo is done. Not to mention the fact that even if he rewinds, he will still feel the pain from his wounds. This was especially shown in his cinematic. So his abilities are really not that powerful. Then there is Mundo. Mundo speaks for himself. He is physically strong, but he's dumb as
Like
bricks.
Frankenstein.
Then there is Ezreal. And right after Ezreal, there will be a lot of champions who have very similar power level.
Okay.
Ezreal's only issue is that he doesn't really know how to control his glove perfectly. He himself doesn't really have any kind of professional training. And oftentimes, he has no idea what he's doing. He's kinda squeezing the glove and hoping that something good happens. So while the Glove of Nazuk, the artifact which he has, is really powerful, Ezreal doesn't know how to fully unlock its potential. On a similar level, then there is Graves. Graves' power really comes from two things. Living in the underground, he has lived through a lot of shootouts. He knows how to fight
Graves
people,
is a hardhead.
but also his shotgun is just really powerful. And since it is partially enhanced with magic and hextech, it is just really strong. Very slightly above him there is Misfortune.
Okay,
Yes,
hold on. All right, we gotta. We might have to pause every row because there's so many different characters. Vi's up here. Oh yeah, Vi does have it. This. I don't know. I'm already kind of conflicted with this list because I'm just like, and maybe it's because we've already seen cinematics in the future. We've already seen Arcane. We've already seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yeah, even like Curse of, like I said, Curse of Mummy, like that's a whole music video. We haven't yet to watch that yet, but the fact that like Annie's on this bottom row seems kind of crazy to me. Like,
That
that
bear
seems
went
insane.
nuts.
Because like if he shows up every time she's like in trouble or gonna be killed, doesn't that mean she's unkillable? So I'm just like in my head, I'm like,
Well, he's
right.
also talking about like other stronger beings than the bear. So, because if that's all she has, then
but she's
pretty much-
underneath like Blitzcrank, which I'm pretty sure that bear is beating Blitzcrank, huh? Or like Graves. I feel like the bear is definitely killing Graves. That's where I'm just like, I don't know.
Well,
Is this
Graves
before
is just
the
gonna
Annie
go.
cinematic?
Maybe so.
Let me see what she is.
Sound off with the bear. Different.
I think Necric's just going off the actual like realist like aspect of like situation or scenario experience and like
He's going off the lore,
environment,
he
stuff
said.
like that.
Yeah, I understand, but it's even the, and that's the part we just don't know like how much of the lore is covered at this point in time in the video. I think because I'm basing off cinematics that we've seen,
Right.
And I'm just like,
Basing off of cinematics. I'm listening.
I know we both heard you go.
right?
I was just checking to see if my mic was still on.
I like this list.
I'm
This
glad they
list-
put her sister. Even though if before we go, yeah, this is the last thing I would say. Vi and Jinx. It's kind of crazy that they got them in two separate, like kind of like tax bracket.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be technical, they're right beside each other.
And again, this because we've seen Arcane. This is before Arcane, so it's like
Yeah,
you know,
it's-
this is
I'm a
Jinx.
little biased, bro.
I think Jinx. Honestly, you're biased, but like, it's also just true. Like Jinx with Shimmer now and moving super speed is
That's
a lot
right,
different
yeah.
than in the cinematic world, or you know, from here before that, she was just a girl with a gun. That was crazy. You know what I mean? But now she's like,
I don't know why Caitlyn up there higher than her. She
That's
needs to be
right.
lower than that.
right? I feel like Jinx's guns are crazier.
They're
All right,
crazy,
We're gonna get here.
but again, she's a crazy person. Caitlin's not a crazy person, so she
So we
has
basing
the
off of
better
crazy
mind
people
of
now?
thinking about the scenario and like the tactical aspect of what's going on.
I don't
in the
know
field.
who's more dangerous, Deadshot or Joker.
I want to say out in the open field, Deadshot, but up close quarters, you don't know what's going on. Joker for sure.
See, I feel like
See?
it's the same thing.
I mean, if you got enough time to plan, but
See, I mean, fuck
Joker
it.
doesn't plan though sometimes.
He
so.
does. He always plans.
Anyways, let's get back.
All
to
right,
the
let's
video.
get back to this. Yeah.
I know we could go into this more depth, but it's not about us. It's about the lore.
It's about learning and understanding.
she's just a human. But on top of Graves, her combat mastery is a bit higher. She's far more agile, she has charm on her side, and similar to Graves, her guns were crafted by the best smiths in Bilgewater, her parents. On a similar level above her, we have Alistar. While Alistar is really strong because he is a Minotaur, that's kinda where his powers end. He would be able to take a lot of hits and he would last for very long. But anyone with at least a little bit of training would be able to outmaneuver him. Or if they are clever, they can outlast him. Really, compared to the other Minotaurs which we know about from Legends of Runeterra, Alistar should be one of the weaker ones. Then there is Jace. Above everyone else, he actually has a really powerful hextech machinery on his side, that being his hammer. But the real benefit he has comes from his intellect. He is very smart.
Yeah.
But his smartness probably won't outmaneuver Vi. While Jace crafted the hammer himself, Vi's Atlas gauntlets were enhanced by the professionals in the Piltover military. So in the present days, Vi would be above Jace. And of course, above her, we would have Caitlyn, who not only has a really deadly hextech sniper rifle, but she also has professional officer training on her side. Though even that kind of training would not outlast Gangplank, whose power really comes from his stubbornness and refusal to die. He lost his arm and he came back. He was tested by Ilawi with the power of Nagake Boros, and he passed the test of his will. He was deemed worthy of living by the gods themselves.
I wonder if this is
that
after
alone makes
Ruined
Gangplank
King.
more powerful than anyone else so far. And this is where the
Is
power
Ruined
level
King.
jumps up a bit. So now we
Yeah.
get to people who are either military veterans, or they have some kind of a special or magical training. First there is Irelia. Irelia comes from a family of weavers. They were weaver dancing. And it so happens that her weaver dances are able to manipulate blades that come from her family crest. She was quite
That seems
strong
pretty
even when
fucking
she was
powerful.
young.
Yeah.
That's when she cut off Swain's hand. But she is still somewhat inexperienced compared to the others. What she's really lacking is some professional training. Irelia is purely self-taught. She knew how to dance, then she realized she can manipulate blades, and she herself started training with the blades.
This is gonna be a rough list, bro. I
Someone
can-
like Riven
This
would
is
be
crazy.
above her. Because not only is Riven's blade far more powerful than what Irelia has.
She is powerful.
Remember that her weapon was crafted by the Black Rose. But also, Riven was trained in the Noxian military. She got a proper soldier's training. So those combined would rank her higher. And
So
she
they're
would
the
be
same
roughly
crystals
on the
that,
same level as
Mbessa
someone
had
like
around her
Akali.
arm?
Yep.
Akali is partially spiritually attuned to Ionia, even though her bond is not
She's
really
dope.
that strong. But she also has her Kinku training, with the Kinku being one of the most powerful orders in Ionia. And then we have two Yordles who are highly debatable. There is Nar and Fizz. The issue with those two is that
Fizz?
they are primitive. Nar is the oldest Yordle on Runeterra, and Fizz is very close to him. And while Nar's Mega form would be able to defeat anyone else so far, he is not smart, and so the rest would be able to outmaneuver him. And with Fizz, the issue is that Fizz just never fights. He jumps around and plays with people, but he never really does anything beyond that. Yordles usually...
I thought Fizz was in the original Rune War, fighting, and then eventually after like the Rune Wars happened and he was fighting, he went into like, crystallized hibernation type of thing.
Yeah.
And he's been in hibernation, but I thought he was literally fighting in the Rune Wars. What is he? Maybe
He
I
was there-
don't
he was
understand.
there- He was there. He was for sure. Him and the other, I forgot what. They were there before all this stuff even like occurred.
Yeah.
Like before Nexus. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, before
Yeah.
Nexus,
Before
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's a crazy list, man. Because he's going through so many so fast too that I'm like, damn. Some of these characters I'm not really sure, but yeah, Gangplank and Misfortune, like in the Ruined King, Misfortune is just defeating Gangplank
Gangplank.
and taking over his territory. So I would assume that she should be above him. So this must be before the Ruined King game as well. You guys, again, if things are getting mixed up, definitely correct us on time slots and stuff like that, so we can make sure we understand where everything should be placed current day.
rank higher up because they are Yordles. Their normal power level is really high, but they are brought even higher because of their intellect. Yordles are smart, but not these two. That's why these two are debatable. So if you would personally rank them higher, I would understand. And then there is Gragas. While the Iceborn are really strong people,
Damn.
Gragas is lacking any kind of real weapon. Yes, he would be able to punch you to death, but that's kinda where he ends. He is physically insanely strong, but nothing more than that. He would be on a similar level as someone like Quinn. Quinn's issue is that she is no assassin, she's not a killer, she's a scout. She is really good at sneaking around and scouting areas, but when she gets into a fight, she's not that good. As an
Never actually seen
example,
her
in the
before.
Garen novel, Quinn almost died after fighting 2 people at once. Valor does a lot to help her, and we are counting that power. That's why she is a lot higher than someone like Caitlyn. But still, she is really not that strong. And above her, we would have the 2 Noxian assassins. Of them, Talon is absolutely the stronger one. That's why he's above her. However, neither of those two assassins are perfect. The reason why Katarina has a scar on her face is because she failed as an assassin. That's why she was kicked out. And Talon managed to fail to kill Katarina when she was stationary. So neither of them are perfect killers. That's why, above them, we would have the Demacian crew. Fiora, Jarvan, and Garen are all interchangeable. We know that Garen and Jarvan should be on the same kind of level, because from their childhood they have always been training together. The two are great friends. But the reason why I would put Garen slightly higher is because, unlike Jarvan, Garen is used in battles far more often. He should have more experience. And the very slight problem with Fiora is that Fiora is focusing on one-on-one battles. She is an amazing duelist, but her combat abilities are highly limited by that. And above these three, we would have Darius. Darius should be just as strong as Garen. The two would likely be equal. And while Garen has the advantage of having Petricite, the Noxian soldiers have the Black Iron, which is mined from the Freljord. And that is the strongest kind of steel that we know about. Darius's armor is nearly unbreakable. If you also count the fact that he's a member of the Triferix, even if we don't count the political power, Darius would be slightly above Garen. Surprisingly, slightly above him, then we have the special people. Just like Twisted Fate, who seems to be a normal human, but he is actually a mage. And his magical abilities alone would be above the rest. Vayne is on a similar level, but she doesn't take advantage of magic. She ranks higher above the rest because of her arsenal alone. She is a really good killer, but she is also being carried by her weapons, which are armed with silver bolts. But better than silver bolts is Lucian, with his sentinel guns. The recent event showed us that the sentinel guns are really powerful, but they also enhance Lucian's abilities. They give him slight magical abilities, such as his dash. Above Lucian, we would have something like Zac, who is really just an experiment with quite some potential, but that's really where Zac ends. He is strong when it comes to slapping people, but he is just a blob after all. On a similar level, we would have Singed. He is a Piltovan professor by day, and a Zonite murderer by night. He managed to figure out how to slightly prolong his own life, but he's currently trying to figure out how to really become immortal. His current experiments are some of the creepiest stories which we have in League, and it is all about Singed stitching people together in hopes of attaching a smart person onto a strong person, and therefore prolonging the smart person's life. There is the theory that Singed wants to do that to himself. I highly recommend reading his story.
Wait.
And above Singed, we would have the...
No. Wait, so how the fuck is Singed? He doesn't have any power whatsoever. Like, his intellect, I thought, because he was saying, like, political power and shit like that doesn't play an effect. And him stitching other people together and making other people powerful has nothing to do with him. No. Or, like, even when we watch, like, the lore video of him and Warwick or anything like that, or we read, like, the background stories, like, the most gruesome stories and stuff, it's always just him doing experiments.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he could be... He's not beating up anyone. You know what I mean?
He's probably like the behind the scenes guy, like a boss. He's just, sending motherfuckers out, do his little dirty work.
That's not power, though.
No, it's not
that's
power.
where I'm like, how does, according to this list, because he said political power and stuff like that's not. Singed is a favorite character, don't get me wrong. I love him, but like, I just don't see
intelligence, probably. Just because he's a mad scientist.
He should be down there right next to Jace, though.
I was going to say, Jace got a hammer and intelligence. See, that's what I'm saying. That don't even make any sense.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Jace and him should
Hey, fuck this list, bro.
Like, no, pause. Let me just say that. Because think about, okay, so you got Jace.
Yeah.
You got him. Jace was using his shit for different shit. He's using his shit to make powerful, like, entities and shit like that. Like,
trying to. He's doing experiments.
But you see Warwick. Warwick is just like the example. When you he's not powerful himself.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
It's just he can use
him creating something that's powerful is like I don't know if we're talking about like Victor, that's different. Victor has he goes out and he fights and he has a lot of power. Like he also can control armies and stuff like that. But him by himself, like he's fighting his lasers and fly and all that shit. So that's.
But that one man we talking about that's ranked higher created one man that can wipe out half these motherfuckers on this motherfucker. You feel me? Or majority of motherfuckers on there. Probably all of them.
Maybe, but Jace created the entire Hex Tech, which the entire the Noxus governments and everybody wants because they're powerful weapons that can help them fight. So I don't know, man. Y'all tell me your guys' thoughts. I want to keep pausing. Otherwise, if we don't pause throughout this, we would just be watching the whole thing because it's just constant information. So definitely make sure to put your inputs on it so we can make it a little bit more interactive. You know what I mean?
I'm just not trying to be a grandpa over here, man.
Grandpa?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh, man.
Oh, dozing.
Yeah, young bucks out here. Young blood.
Crazy person. Jin. Jin's power comes from two different things. His masterful planning and the Tula armory. Many people may not know about it, but all the guns that Jin has were sponsored by a secret Ionian cabal. They are really powerful and magically enhanced, so his arsenal would rank him above the rest. Then we have something
We don't
like
know too much about Jin yet.
Kha'Zix is a Voidborn who eats animals. He's not really that smart,
praying
but
mantis.
physically he gets stronger with every kill. However, he's not really the ever-consuming
Solo
Void
leveling.
creature. Surprisingly, Lux would be on a similar level. She is a
Lux,
really
really?
strong mage, and she has the potential to be really high up on the list. But her issue is that Lux doesn't really know how to control her light. That is the point of her story, especially in the comic. Above her, we have the other people who tap into magical abilities, such as Nidalee. She is really just a person who taps into the ability to morph into a cat. And then there is Kaisa,
How's
who
that
really
strong?
just taps into the ability to have a Voidborn attached to
How's
her.
that compared to
She
this?
is strong, but
Craziness.
it's nothing mind-blowing. And then there is Rengar, who over time is getting stronger and stronger on a way faster rate than someone
battle
like
beast.
Kha'Zix.
Right.
And don't worry, no, we are not counting the power that comes from the Sentinels of Light, just like for Vayne. This is just Rengar before the event. Then there is Elise, who, just like Nidalee or Kaisa, is a human that is tapping into another source of power, but it just so happens to be that the power of the Shadow Isles is way better, with it being connected to an immortal god called Vilemo. Above her, there is Kain,
Her
who
and,
is also
Cassiopeia are
tapping
both
into
part of
another
the Black
power.
Word of the Rose,
The
so,
issue with Kain is that he
Seems like
is
they would be,
still a
like,
child,
high.
and his shadow training is nowhere near completion. So he is neither a master of the shadow technique,
I don't know who the fuck
nor
this is.
is he the
They just
dark.
said he was still a
That's
kid.
why he is a lot weaker in the current state than what people realize. On a similar
Well, I
level,
feel
there
like
would
he
be
was being,
Warwick, who
minded
is
like
really
a kid.
strong and really ferocious, but his insane status kinda cripples him at the same time. The
Yeah.
same goes for Urgot, but Urgot is actually smart. And that's not even talking about him being really resilient, or the fact that he can meat grind people. And slightly above him, there would be Sona, who is a really powerful mage who can make you dance so hard your bones break. Don't
Damn,
underestimate Sona.
Jesus.
And on a very similar level, there would be someone like Oriana. Oriana's power doesn't really come from combat. Yes, she can fight, but she's no
body,
fighter. Her power
That's
purely
Singe's
comes
daughter.
from the fact
Yeah,
that
this
she's
is
the
what
perfect
they revealed in
combination of
Arcane.
organic and synthetic.
Are you just
She
getting
is the
that now?
top form human assimilated with
Well, she-
Hextech. But she's not quite
Do
perfect.
we need to pause it? Really?
Well, yeah, she wasn't.
She didn't look like that in the fucking show.
Yeah, at this point, she wasn't confirmed to be Singe's daughter. So they just wrote that in there. So she's not even this advanced yet, like how she is in the story, how they showed her in Arcane.
No.
That was her like fresh being made, and this is probably her like deeper into.
Yeah,
timeline.
years later.
Yeah.
Oh, if they implement that in there, bro. Oh my god.
I know.
Oh my god.
That was one of those crazy reveals.
Yeah, it was insane to see that in Arcane.
That's it. My bad, y'all.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I was just confused. I'm like, dude, we saw this. And then look at your face. I was like,
We was talking, but
It was
like,
one of
just
those
seeing-
ones-
Just seeing visuals.
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that was quickly shown, and with the ending of the show and everything going on, like you're not really thinking about Easter egg. You're more thinking
Right.
about Jinx just died. You're thinking about spoilers if you guys haven't watched Arcane.
Thinking about Caitlyn on top of Vi saying, hey, you ready to continue this battle? And then she goes, you already know it. And then all of a sudden,
when you said on top of Vi,
Oh, that's what
no,
I was
like
thinking.
hugging, like
Oh,
hugging
that's
on
what
the
you're
top
still
of Vi.
thinking about?
No,
Episode 9, bro? That's great.
No.
You wild.
He will never let that kiss go.
You ready? The
no,
kiss?
I'm all about
He's
that.
talking about the jail scene.
I would
jail
never
cell.
let the kiss go then.
I'll never let that. Yeah, let's get back into this.
We'll get to that. And then there is Yumi. While everyone may argue that Yumi is just a cat,
beat the
that's
fuck out of
not
that
really
cat.
the case. Yumi is a spirit from Bandle City. She is exactly the same thing as
Whoa.
something like Pix, which Lulu has. So it doesn't matter what she looks like. She may look like a cat, but her power level would be something close to something like Vastaya, a magical creature. But she would still be slightly lesser than them. That's why above Yumi we have most of the Vastaya. There is Rakan, who is really the weakest of them. Then there is Set, who is a really strong fighter, and he is a Vastaya, but his human side is kinda holding him back. Above him, there would be another really formidable fighter, Sivir. Sivir would be a lot lower on the list if she didn't hold the Chalikar. The Chalikar is the blade that was the key to sealing the Darkin inside their weapons. That artifact alone is insanely good. But above her, there is Samira. Samira is a professionally trained mercenary who is also an assassin. Now, that alone would make her strong, but what puts her that high on the list is the fact that her arsenal comes from the Black Rose. You really can't find more advanced weapons in the entirety of Noxus. Then there is Talia, a really good stoneweaver who suffers from two things. She is really young and inexperienced, and she never got proper training for her abilities. She was trained by Yasuo when she was in Ionia, and that's really where it ended. So should she get some proper elemental training from Ishtal, Talia would be a lot higher, but currently she's not that strong. And finally, to top of this category, there is also Xayah, the last Ionian Vastaya who is by far the deadliest of them. But here we have a bit of a jump in the power level. Next up, there is Xin Zhao, whom many may know as Viscero. That was his gladiator name. Xin Zhao was originally an Ionian soldier. He was insanely powerful, but he was captured by the Noxians during the invasion. Because he was so strong, the Noxians thought it would be funny if they used him in the arena. And so, that's where Xin fought. And no one ever defeated him. He was able to take on dozens of people at the same time. And so, being as strong as he is, the Noxians then used Xin Zhao as a living weapon. And together with some other gladiators, they sent Xin Zhao into Demacia to claim the lands for them. That's where the Noxians were defeated, and Jarvan III thought that Xin Zhao was not fighting for the right side. That's how Xin Zhao was converted. Anyway, the point is, Xin Zhao is insanely strong. But not quite as powerful as someone like
on
Lee
the other
Sin.
side of the continent.
Lee Sin may be slightly lower than Xin Zhao when it comes to pure fighting. But Lee Sin has the edge because he can use the Dragon's Flame. The same goes for Yasuo. He's also a really good fighter, but he has the edge because he can use the Wind Technique. And somewhat of a similar thing goes for Victor. Victor himself is a really clever inventor, but his power level comes from the fact that he is really good at replacing his own body. He is simply more than a human, on a similar level to other people using some kind of a powerful technique. And what's better than a really clever powerful inventor? A Yordle inventor, or 3 of them. Rumble is the lowest of them because Rumble is using literal garbage for his machinery. Heimerdinger is above him because he actually knows what the heck he's doing with his inventions, and Ziggs would be above him because Ziggs is not held back by moral code. His wild side would give him the edge. Then we have the 2 guys who are tapping into the powers of the Void. They are not really as insanely powerful as people would think. They are really just people touched by the Void, but the Void is so powerful that Kassadin and Malzahar would be above the rest. And then there is Kled, a really old and really skilled soldier, who's kinda held back by his dementia. A very unfortunate fate for Kled. Though because of...
So I'm paused right there. Maybe I don't understand this. Is Kai'Sa not touched by the Void?
She
was
was born of the Void.
How about the female Vastaya?
They had the okay, hold on.
With the feathers?
No, sorry.
Of Scarl, it almost kinda equals out. Shyvana would be on a similar level.
Kai'Sa down here. The one that was in the Belveth video. She can fly. She has the helmet suit.
She looked kind of like the Shashai, or Shashai. I'm saying it wrong.
No. I don't even know.
No, she right here.
Oop. She looks like this.
One more. Over. Or you right there.
Oh yeah, this goes from Ionia.
Yeah, that's a different race.
Yeah. Vashai is or all Ionian spirit mixed with people type things.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Daughter of the Void, so I feel like Daughter of the Void is touched by the Void, but that's another thing for you guys if you guys want to clear that up. Like, what's the difference of being touched by the Void? And I know her armor is a living creature from the Void.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't actually have any power. I don't know how that works actually. I haven't seen that much of her lore. Yeah, because it seems like it's bonded to her body. So
yeah, definitely looks like it's bonded to her.
Yeah,
it's like that Venom shit.
Yeah, she almost seems like like an alien Iron Man. And then see, hey man, what do I know? Necrit knows these things. I'm just you know.
Being a half-dragon, it's almost natural to be a really powerful magical being. Almost as powerful as the last land-walking Vastaya, Wukong. The reason why Wukong is above all the other Vastaya so far is because Wukong was trained by Master Yi, which means that Wukong has the basics of the Wuju technique. He can't use it, he didn't have visions of the past just like Master Yi did, but even with Master Yi's training on its own, Wukong is just way more powerful. And he is even using the battle staff of Doran. Above him we would have Sion, a human being resurrected by pure dark magic.
That guy's
That's kind of
crazy
where that ends.
strong.
Above him there would be Yorick, someone who is able to survive the Black Mist because he has a vial of the Blessed Waters on his neck, and someone who has the ability to speak to the dead and control the dead. Though that is not as powerful as someone like Illaoi, who is the chosen of the god of motion called Nagake Boros. Using the Eye of the God, which is the artifact she's holding, she's able to test mortal souls. That's what she did to Gangplank. And channeling the god's powers, Illaoi is just way above everyone else. Though the Iceborn would be above her, just like Ari. Alright, I always say that someone is the last Vastaya, but no, Ari is the last land-walking Vastaya on this list. While the Iceborn are really strong themselves, because they are just really resilient people inheriting the distant power of the Watchers, while being able to wield weapons of true ice, which can instantly kill anyone who is not an Iceborn. Ari is on a similar level because she is empowered by the souls of her victims. So when it comes to Ari, essentially the longer she lives, the more powerful she gets. Then above the Iceborn we have some of the undead. Kalista is there because unlike the other people from the Shadow Isles, Kalista is not utilizing the power of the Black Mist. That's why she is a lot lower. And Karthus is really just herding the souls. He doesn't really do anything about that. And so, above those, we have the other people related to the Black Mist. There is Akshan, who should be on the same level as someone like Lucian, who was way lower on the list. But the Absolver and the ability to resurrect people brings him a lot higher. Next to him, there is Senna, who is also just like Lucian, but she embraces the power of the Black Mist. And the same thing goes for Gwen. Except for Black Mist, Gwen is using the Hallowed Mist. And above them, we have the last Vastaya, who's not land-walking. Being one of the Marai, who are one of the most ancient Vastaya that we know about, inheriting the wisdom of her people, and having the connection of the aspect of the moon, that's why Nami would be above the other Vastaya. Then there is Olaf, who is really shady. Once again, not counting the lore from the Sentinels of Light, it is really difficult to rank Olaf, because theoretically Olaf is immortal. As long as he fights, he can't die. That is what his prophecy said. But you know, it would be insane to say that he would be actually immortal as long as he fought. All prophecies should be able to be broken. Otherwise, Olaf would have to be on the same level of something like Aurelian, a never-dying soul. But that would be quite insane. That's why Olaf is where he is. A really strong fighter with uncanny powers, just like Tryndamere. Tryndamere is above everyone else because he is tapping into the power of the Darkin. That's where his encounter with Aatrox comes in. So basically, he is a Freljordian warrior tapping into some insane powers. The same goes for Yone, that's why Yone is above him. He's also just a really powerful swordsman who is tapping into the power of the Ionian demons called the Azakana.
That cinematic was dope.
I literally was like, I gotta pause just to say we finally watched that Kin the Stained Blade, which will be coming out here pretty soon. Probably after.
Yeah, it's definitely after.
No, this one will come out before, actually. This won't come out probably tomorrow. I just had to stop because that shit was great. I know a lot of people recommended that as one of the first cinematics that we watched. Great shit, great shit. So if you haven't, you can go back and check that. I'll probably tag it at the end of this video, actually. Great stuff, man. We've watched a lot of cinematics. They're just in different parts. So you'll see like Tales of Runeterra is in one series that we've done. You'll see us doing our original first 4 videos. Watching League cinematics after watching Arcane. Or reacting to League cinematics after watching Arcane. That was our first 4 videos, or first 2 videos that we didn't really have any type of premise, so everything's mixed up. Yeah, no idea whatsoever. And then we finally got into like, okay, season cinematics, okay, champion cinematics, and now things are just organized. So if you guys want to see other stuff, there's a chance you've already missed it, and we've already posted the past like 4 or 5 months. So yeah, go back and check that out. There's actually a list on our profile that have like lore learning videos, and then another list of cinematics. So if you guys want to see like the documentary or any of that stuff, it'll be in those. So
And that's why Varus is slightly above him. Varus is the combination of 2 veteran archers who were incredible hunters and 1 really powerful Darkin. But here, since the Darkin also has some control over the body, Varus is just way higher than Kayn. And he would be on the same level of someone like Yone. And then we have the Yordles. Unlike the other Yordles, including Kled, the reason why these are more powerful is because their connection to the spirit realm is a lot higher. Ziggs, Heimerdinger and Rumble are really just screwing around in the mortal realms, while all of these Yordles are embracing the spiritual powers. Tristana would be the weakest of them, followed by Poppy, who has the edge because she has the Hammer of Orlon, a legendary artifact weapon. Above her, there would be Lulu, one of the most powerful sorcerer Yordles in Bandle City.
She's funny.
Above her, there would be Kennen, whose link to the spirit realm is far higher than anyone else's, because he is one of the leaders of Kinku. And above him, there is Teemo. We don't know too much about Teemo, but we know that despite his looks, Teemo is one of the deadliest Yordles out there. He's a master assassin at the same time. So whether Teemo or Kennen is stronger, that's really up to you. Above those, there would be Trundle. Trolls in
I've seen Teemo in a lot of stuff. I love Teemo. Well, how do you compare him like the primordial Yordle and then say that there's not that much story, so we don't really know how powerful, but then rank him like 50 characters above, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's questions, man. If you guys have the answer to that, like I said again, just post it. I'm asking all these questions so you guys can elaborate for us and help fill in things, because I know there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of stories we haven't read and stuff, so.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Right? I'm like, damn, Teemo's
general are incredibly strong. They are pretty much immune to the frost, but Trundle himself is also
really
an iceborn. He wields a true ice weapon. That on top of the fact that trolls have incredible regenerating powers, Trundle is just way higher than what people would expect. But he's not quite as powerful as something like Vastaya Shirei, which is Nico. Nico is not a pure Vastaya Shirei. If she was, she would be way higher on the list. But she is close enough to her pure ancestors that her power levels are just way too high. That's why, notice, I didn't call her a Vastaya. And she would be on a similar level to something like Maokai. Maokai is a nature spirit, but the issue with Maokai is that Maokai is barely surviving. He's doing all he can to push back the Black Mist, so he is not in the best shape. Above him there would be Nunu, but Nunu's powers don't really come from Nunu. It's all about Willem. From Nunu's story, we learned that the ancient Yetis were insanely powerful. They had incredible connections to magic, and their wisdom was inconceivable. So Willem alone is able to carry Nunu. Literally. After that we have Janna. Janna is also a primal spirit, but she's not in her best shape. Before Piltover and Zone split, many people worshipped her, that's when she was at her best. But since then, only people in Zone pray to Janna, and Janna gets her power from her followers. That's why she's not as high as she could be. Lilia is on the same level. She's also a spirit born from dreams in Ionia. Not the most powerful spirit, but powerful enough. And then we get to Rel. Rel is an...
Pause on Rel really quick.
Make sure you open it and not show her address.
Oh yeah, turn it back.
Yeah, turn it the other way.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna open up this this special gift here that we got.
Yes, we are.
From the dedicated and loving people
of you.
I can open it?
Yeah.
Yeah, open it.
For Christmas.
Nigga, Christmas already. Shit.
Wait, not too much. I don't want to play for mess.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Hold on.
What is it?
Oh shit.
Hold on.
Shit.
Wait a minute.
Ooh.
Ooh. Hold on, bro. Help me.
Oh, there's multiple.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Hey, pass this down. Pass it down.
So I feel like we might have to do some mixing and matching.
Oh my god.
Andre's not here.
Bro, there's a lot.
No. Yeah,
There's one for each person. I think I did see that in the message.
Nah, I get to get one?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, shout out to you. You know who you are.
Look at this shit, man.
Bro.
What the fuck? Hold on.
Wait, let's see that one.
What's that one? Yeah.
We got this cool little zoom function.
Yeah, Kindred.
Oh, Kindred's crazy.
That's sick.
Nah, bro, we gotta see the other ones before I just.
That's crazy,
Yeah, right. No, we
bro.
We gotta fight.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta fight for sure.
Yeah.
Is that a Zerg?
Zerd, yeah.
What's up?
Ooh.
Oh!
Yep, I'm fighting you right now. What's up?
Really? Oh my god.
so it's
That's
crazy.
dope.
And these are all from display, so they're like harder images.
Yeah, these are metallic.
I'm putting this out as soon as I go home.
What's that one? Ooh,
Oh,
damn,
no.
dude.
Zoom out real quick. Zoom out real quick.
Damn, dude.
And it has the white frame too.
What?
Yeah, white frame. Ah.
All right, bet. You know what? Which one I want there?
Hey.
No, you know which one I want. Yeah. You know. Come on.
Dude, that's
The craziest part is
sick.
DeAndre's not here, so.
All right, man.
you know,
That's
we,
fair.
we can
That's
split
fair.
up his.
We can split up
fair.
his.
Cut it into fours. You are appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I love you. I don't even know who you is.
You
Appreciate
awesome.
You, man.
You are
For sure.
awesome,
I'll
man.
disclose
Oh, this is crazy.
statistics afterwards.
That is sick.
If you guys want to know who it is, I'll drop it on Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. I'll drop his address on Patreon. Yeah, appreciate you.
100%.
Great stuff. It's close to Christmas too, so this is a great
Perfect
gift.
time.
And yeah, sorry, we're gonna get back to this video now though. We held y'all long.
Dude, it was awesome, man. I didn't expect any of that. When I
kinda
was
had it.
holding it, I was like, "Yo, what is this? This is kind of heavy." And then you said it was from out of the States, like Poland or some.
Well, this came from Poland.
Right.
'cause,
Well, that's
it's
what
from
I'm.
Displate, but he's from East Side. He and or she.
He
or
and or she.
they or them.
No, I just appreciate you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
That
That's
shit
dope.
kind of made my day. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
It made my day. That's dope.
All right, y'all. Let's jump back into this.
Let's do it.
Incredible mage, who is thought to be able to fight someone
That
like
blade is dope.
Mordekaiser with proper training. Currently, Rel is held back by two facts. She is a child and she has no real training.
Stop with this
Once both of
child
those
shit.
factors
I
get
know.
cancelled out,
I mean-
she'll be a lot higher.
I know,
Above
I
her,
know.
there is Vygar,
16,
the last
15,
Yordle on this
yeah.
list who is the most powerful
Vygar,
Yordle that we know
strong.
about. And above him, there is a spirit that is not in a bad shape. Ivern is a spirit that was born from the Omikaela, the world tree of Ionia. That alone makes Ivern really powerful.
Damn.
But he's still not the primal spirit of the entire continent. He is essentially just a spirit, in a slightly weaker form because Ivern the Cruel, the Freljordian warrior, cut down the original tree that was responsible for the power of the spirit.
Pissed his
So
ass
even
off.
Ivern is not in his
remember
prime.
that shit.
And Ivern would have a similar power
Damn,
to
Camille
Camille.
is way up
Camille
here.
is an expert assassin, forged by Hextech to be
know what I'm
perfect.
saying.
She has enhanced vision, she really can't miss,
I said that in
and
the
she
lore
got the
video.
best
AOT?
training Piltover could offer. She is really assassin brought to perfection. Galio would
Yeah,
be
she's
on
a
a similar
savage.
level. He's a Petricite Titan. He's really
I think
big.
that shit hard as hell.
Wait.
I think that shit hard as hell.
So
first of all.
Camille is on the same level as Galio? I don't even know, bro.
Advanced technology.
I just don't know.
See, that's
Assassin
bringing back
next
the
to
same,
this.
It's
Yeah.
bringing the same argument we had at the beginning.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of. I'm expecting that. I'm excited to see the arguments in the comments because I feel like no one can possibly agree with all of these different
No.
characters. There's no way.
Yeah, she's only like 5, maybe 5'9", 6 foot, and this goddess being looking thing is as big as like.
Titan.
But it's one of those things that he's probably gonna say Galio. You know, he has to get. He basically spends most of his time being dormant until people use a lot of like magic around him, and then he absorbs the magic and he comes to life. Like when Lux summoned him,
Yeah.
it's like he was being summoned. He's not necessarily running around doing his own thing. But even then, it's like I'm glad he kind of specified in the beginning, you know. But I feel like even then,
It's too much.
power wise,
Yeah.
and I wanted to say too, I wrote a note. This universe is a lot different than something that's had years and years and years to develop. And by years, I mean like, you know, not centuries.
Decades.
Decades of
Decades.
years. Yeah, decades of years to develop like Marvel or DC. Like whenever you do like a Marvel competition or a Marvel comparative or DC, you have all these different iterations of the characters. You have entire series that have finished of just that character story, and then you can compare it to just another character story. Whereas this is all so intertwined that like none of these characters, like half of the characters so far are, oh yeah, they haven't really had any training. And it's like,
Yeah, you see,
okay,
you skip over
but-
some. You skip over some. You don't got too much on the lore.
yeah,
to
some
get
of them don't even have lore, so it's
Yeah.
it's very interesting comparing this list compared to something else like Marvel or DC or any other IP, honestly.
That's kinda where his power comes from. If he wasn't big, Galio would be actually way lower on the list.
What?
Because besides moving around, he doesn't do much. Maybe besides absorbing magic. But even that can backfire. On a similar level, there would also be Skarner. If you really think about it, Skarner is just a dude. But he's a different species. So it is really the fact that he has a Hextech battery on his tail that brings him this high. Then there is Udyr, a spirit walker channeling the power of the primal gods of Freljord. There is not much more I can say on this. He's a guy who is tapping into some real godly powers. That's why Aphelios is right next to him. Aphelios is also a guy who is tapping into godly powers of the moon goddess. And that's why Pantheon is next to him. Pantheon used to be a god himself, but after the aspect of war died, now he is a dude that is tapping into the remnants of a godly power. And that's why Swain is next to him. Because Swain is tapping into the godly powers of a demon. And one of the more powerful demons at that, the demon of secrets, Raum. And following the patterns, then there is Pike. Pike is a guy who is tapping into the powers of Nagake Boros. While he should be on the same level of someone like Illaoi. Illaoi is only following the powers of Nagake Boros. And she is wielding them for the god's good. But Pike is infused with those powers. He's almost being controlled by the god. That's why he's a lot higher. And then we get the first Shreeman Ascended, Nasus. Nasus is really powerful, but he's also quite depressed these days, so he is not in his best form. Then there is Nocturne. The reason why Nocturne, unlike the other demons, is this low is because Nocturne is banished. As far as we know, he should be still locked up somewhere around Demacia.
That's why
his encounter with Lux didn't really go well. That's why, in his current form, Nocturne is slightly lower. Then there is someone like Hecarim, who is this high because he is fully embracing the power of the Black Mist. Hecarim can freely make up his own army as he wishes. We learned that from his very recent story in Demacia. He simply reaches into the Black Mist, pulls out a spirit, and he uses that spirit as his own soldier. That's why Hecarim can craft his own armies. Silas would be on a similar level, though Silas's power is highly situational. If Silas is in the middle of nowhere, he can't do anything. He needs to be around something magical. But the reason why he is this high, unlike the other mages, despite having somewhat simple magical abilities, Silas was able to wield the power of Morgana when he was in the capital city. Under normal circumstances, normal mortals would be broken by such powers. But Silas was able to tap into the powers of gods and then wield them. That makes him special.
I thought he was just like
Zed
Galio in a
would be
sense.
still slightly above him.
So
The
he
shadow
could tap
technique
into
is simply
multiple
that
gods, right?
powerful.
Sounds like
It is similar to Nocturne himself, but Nocturne is still weaker because he is banished. That's why Zed is so high. And then there is Renekton. Renekton is simply far stronger than Nasus. And in the latest story, we even saw what happens
and a
if someone
crocodile.
tries to strike Renekton down. Some kind of weird celestial magic reshapes Renekton's bones and meat and snaps him back together. Reading his story was quite mind-blowing. But what we learned from that is that we always underestimated Renekton's power. Then we finally get another demon, Tam Kench. Not the most powerful one, but he is still a demon. So his power level in general would be way above everyone else. Kinda on the same level
of
of
theories
someone
here.
like Rek'Sai, one of the biggest Voidborn on Runeterra that we know about. You know, we have no idea what Cho'Gath is. But being the Broodmother, Rek'Sai is just insanely powerful. And then there is Nautilus. If you thought that Pike was really good because he was infused with
nigga in the
powers
water.
of Nagake Boros, he's nothing compared to Nautilus. Nagake Boros forged Nautilus into a full-on titan. At this point, Nautilus is the right hand of
I thought
the
Pike
god.
was like
And
controlling
then
this.
we have
I thought
Shen.
so too.
Being the
Thought
Eye
he
of
was-
Twilight, Shen has
Shen
by
is a
far
fuck.
the best connection
Yeah.
to the spirit realm.
Yep.
At least out of all the mortals. He's really deadly in the physical
cinematic
realm,
we saw
and
was
he's
pretty
really
dope.
deadly in the spirit realm. There's really not much people can do when fighting him.
Damn.
Then
with
there
the
is
girl?
Brand. Normally Brand would be a lot higher, because Brand is essentially using the power of a world rune. But the point of Brand's story is that Brand can't control the power of a world rune. The power consumed him. So yes, he is really strong, but he doesn't have the power under control.
I wonder what he's,
That's
like,
why
made
he
out
is
of,
slightly
like his
lower.
skin.
And then there is Thresh. I'm recording
okay.
this before we got the finale of the Light Sentinel event, so that one will definitely change Thresh's power. But currently, it seems like Thresh will be the new leader of the Shadow Isles. That's why he is right here. He is holding inconceivable power, just like someone like Syndra. Syndra should be a lot higher, or at least she has the potential to be higher. But Syndra killed every teacher who tried to teach her how to use her powers. So while Syndra has unlimited potential, as she says, the potential is very limited by her own abilities. She simply has no idea what she's doing.
No,
Sandra.
Then there is Zyra.
Yeah, you're thinking
The reason why Zyra is so high is because Zyra is a plant that is currently consuming about a third of Ishtal. The Kumungu jungles are being devastated by her,
of it?
so I wouldn't
That's a lot.
underestimate her powers.
I thought she didn't have that much
And
story.
then we get to some really powerful mages. Zillion is insanely strong, not just because he has the mastery over chronomancy, and not just because he's one of the very few people who are able to resist the void, but also because he is a mage who trained in Shurima, in Ikathia, in Ishtal, and on the Blessed Isles.
Wow.
Simply said, he is a really powerful mage
He
in
went
general.
all over.
Just like Vladimir. Vladimir is a mage who has the mastery over hemomancy,
Yeah,
which
vampire.
originated from the
Vampire, I was
Dark
about
Age.
to say that.
Combine this with the
Yeah.
fact that hemomancy in general has the ability to make you stronger over time, because you simply reshape your body to be stronger and stronger. He also comes from Kamavor, and also, back in the old days, LeBlanc considered Vladimir to be her only equal. She has never met a more powerful mage. That's why Vladimir is so high. He should be higher, but because Vladimir is hiding in Noxus all the time, he doesn't really have the chance to expand his powers. Above him, there would be Jax, or Syjax Koari Ikathun. There's not much to say about him. Jax is the only mortal who was able to single-handedly defeat a Shuriman Ascendant.
mortal?
He's the only one who
Wow.
was able to defeat a God Warrior. For
Damn.
that alone, that's why he is this high. But also, he is holding the last flame of Ikathia, and it is possible that he is a sand troll. So he might be like Trundle, but on steroids. Then there is Evelyn. Simply a really powerful demon who can shape into anything. She grows more powerful over time the more people she kills. Then there is Malphite. His
Keep
power
pausing.
really comes from the fact that he is
2
simply
seconds.
really.
So that's my thing. The more they kill people, so some of these people are demons. So if they kill people and they get powerful, why would they stay stagnant when they continue to?
when they can continue to elevate,
Right,
like
so
the power
level
would
up.
seem, yeah.
I think because the situations that I don't feel like these guys are like going out just to kill, because then they'll just make them psychopath and just crazy.
She's a
I think,
demon, so
I think,
probably.
even with demons, I feel like some of them have some sort of like code to where it's like they can go out and collect and kill these people, but it's like she has to do it, or they have to do it in a way to where it's like it's more meaningful to them. It's like a cat going after its prey. It's gonna play with it for a little bit before it kills it, right?
The hard part about this list is he didn't say that for her, though. He said that about a lot of other people, and he specifically didn't say that for her. So it's
yeah.
You know, what I mean, that's just all theory. And I think that's the hard part, like I was saying before about this list, is like, most just doesn't have enough story to where everything's so hypothetical. I think even this list is hard to make because it's like, it's all just kind of theorizing a lot, like 50% of everything, you know?
They probably was arguing in that chat that he was talking about. at the
Yeah.
beginning
Yeah.
for a
Well,
while.
even with like killing and getting more powerful, there's some characters in here that just live longer and they just gain more power. So they don't even need to kill. They just gotta just live longer just to get more powerful.
Yeah. That's
Like
time
Olaf,
over
yeah, like
energy.
Olaf. He's the one. He's supposedly a god, but the older he gets, the stronger he gets. Or the more battles he's just in.
He just never dies.
He just never-
you know,
yeah.
Battles he's in. So there are other people who are gaining strong, becoming more stronger. It's all hard to say. I appreciate NECRIT for making this video because now it's sparking the conversation so we can try to build off of it, or so other people can try to build off of it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't seen another list like this that talks about how powerful champions are. And I imagine because it's a hard thing to do. Like NECRIT has a lot of different people coming in, so having that live stream, he was probably the best person that's able to put something together like this. But yeah.
It's just because I'd sit up there and try to find the top 5 strongest, so I can like start an argument with these guys in the chat as well. But
Top 5 hard.
yeah, it's hard. You got like
Yeah.
100 different videos with different 5 people each time. They might have one
Exactly.
person like Rise or something in there every time or some shit.
I know, I'm waiting to see where the fuck is Rise at.
At the top.
Very top.
Big.
Hands down top.
He is the shard of the monolith, which was a floating Ishtali citadel. So coming from a purely elemental place, his powers are just really high. However, not as high as the best elementalist mage from Ishtal, Kiana. In the entirety of that entire region, there simply isn't a better mage. Kiana is that powerful. Very slightly more powerful than her, there will be Azir, who is able to single-handedly raise entire armies from sand.
Right.
He is the most powerful Ascended there has ever been, and he might be the most powerful Emperor Shurima has ever had.
Let's go.
Zerath would be slightly above him for one simple reason. Azir got the powers from the Sun Disk willingly, but Zerath forced those powers into his body. Zerath took more power than what was intended for him. That's why his power level is higher.
That's crazy, bro.
Then we get to Master Yi. I could
Master
honestly rant
Yi.
about Yi for hours,
How the fuck
but
is
if you are
he
curious
up
as to why Yi is so high, here's why. The Vuju technique is so powerful. It was never intended to be used in combat, but when the Noxian invasion arrived, Yi thought, maybe I should use it. And so he did, and he killed thousands of Noxians alone. The Noxians were so afraid of him, they tracked down his home village and nuked it just to be safe. Just to know there are no other warriors as powerful as him. And the reason why the Vuju technique is so powerful is because it dates back to the first ever mortal race to exist on the planet. The first ever Vastaya Shirei used this technique when fighting the first Stone Titans. That's why Yi is where he is. Vel'Koz would be on a similar level because as one of the oldest Voidborn, just like Master Yi, he is able to kill thousands of people in the blink of an eye. And then there is Tariq, who might be the weakest of the aspects, but hey, he's an aspect. Above Tariq, I would put LeBlanc. Once again, we are not counting political powers. But LeBlanc is ancient at this point. She is thousands
Black Rose
of years
K
old.
over here.
She was present in the Immortal Bastion when Mordekaiser ruled it. She was the one who got Mordekaiser killed. Now she is mastering all the black magic that Mordekaiser was hiding in Noxus. And she is dominating and corrupting the minds of people all over Runeterra. She has eyes everywhere because, quite frankly, she is mind-controlling people everywhere. That's what her clones are about. Her clones are the influence over the entire world. I really wouldn't underestimate LeBlanc's power. Then above LeBlanc we have another powerful aspect, Leona. And above her there is
above
Karma,
LeBlanc?
who is Dara, a mortal vessel to the entire Ionian spirit. The spirit of an entire continent is inside Karma. So just like the aspects, she is a vessel of gods.
Her name is Karma?
Then there is Anelia, the weakest of the primal gods. Then there is Rammus. But it is theorized that he might be also one of the primal gods. But truth be told, we don't really know anything about Rammus. But we know that he is snacking on the Voidborn like they were Cheetos. At least he is very powerful because he considers the Voidborn Cheetos. And then there is Rise. Someone who has the potential of the power of the World Runes. But unlike someone like Syndra, who has the potential but she doesn't know how to use it, Rise also has the potential, and he also can use the power if he wished to do so. But he simply doesn't do it because he's afraid he's gonna destroy the entire world. So Rise is simply insanely strong. He is wielding the power that shaped the entire world. And then there is Diana, one of the stronger Targonian aspects. Unlike Leona, Diana is actually actively pursuing the powers of the moon. Then there is Viego. Viego is simply really powerful because he is the source of the Black Mist. He is the one who can dominate minds of pretty much anything. But he's held back by the fact that he doesn't care about corrupting.
I thought he was like on the same
He
level as
just
Vladimir.
wants Isolde, and that's his
insane.
biggest mistake. Then there is Morgana, also technically a Targonian aspect, but above someone like Diana and Leona. She and Kael were there when Demacia was formed, so they have wisdom, but also they are more closely attuned to the Targonian powers. While someone like Diana and Leona are still trying to figure out what is even happening. Compared to them,
thought he
Leona
would've
and
been.
Diana are young.
I thought he
Then
would've
we
been
have
up at the
another
top.
really powerful primal Freljordian god, Ornn. And as
this is
strong
close
as
to
someone
the
like
top.
Ornn, there would be Aatrox,
Aatrox,
the
damn.
God Slayer.
What?
Aatrox is simply a Darkin that got out of hand. His rage is untamable, and as long as a mortal is holding his blade, and Aatrox can dominate them, Aatrox is unstoppable. He is the only being in existence that we know
constantly
about
in war.
that was able to kill a celestial god. That being war. And on the exact same level as Aatrox, I would say we have Kael. Kael is likely the most powerful of the Targonian mortal vessels.
Dang.
Being
Above
the
Aatrox?
aspect of justice, she can rain down holy swords on entire nations. Theoretically, she is responsible for Garen's ultimate, but
Like
we
how
don't
they
count
doing it
that
one by
into
one.
Garen's power.
Wait a minute,
Garen's
wait a
ultimate is technically Kale's power.
It's crazy, and I guess this is the was it still here? Like
Yeah.
that cinematic. Her and Morgana were both fighting Aatrox at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's crazy to say that she's stronger than Aatrox when she needed her sister's help, and she was getting like handled. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I guess this is also before Still Here, so it's like
That, and if you want to cross-reference it to like Dragon Ball Z, motherfuckers still had to kind of like power up and find themselves and shit. So,
right.
you know.
Yeah, maybe that's how her powers work.
And the reason why Morgana is below her is because Morgana willingly gave up on some of her powers. Above those, then we have Lysandra. While Lysandra
There
was
we go.
really powerful when the three sisters were still alive, and you know, she got wounded by the Volibear. Over time, mastering the ability to not only use the true ice, but also the black ice, she is simply far more
black
powerful
ice.
than people give her credit for. She is the
What's wrong
only
with black
person
ice?
who is able to keep back the Watchers, the end of all reality. That's why she may be the most powerful mortal in existence. But still above her, we have the stronger of the primal
His
gods,
ass.
the Volibear. Then we have Soraka. While it is true that Soraka is purely a celestial being, Soraka gave up on her celestial powers so that she could drop down onto Runeterra, get a physical form, and help mortals from their suffering. Soraka does have a physical body right now, but her power is so strong her body is burning from the inside. That's why in-game, when you heal someone, you hurt yourself. It's because the powers of Soraka are too strong for her mortal body to handle. Essentially, she is slowly dying. Then we have Mordekaiser, a warlord who, when he was alive, constructed the Immortal Bastion and devastated an entire continent on his own. He himself died on a mountain of corpses. But then he died, he found out there were no gods of death, and so he just decided to become a god of death. If you thought that Viego was the king of the undead, you have no idea what Mordekaiser is about. His power is far beyond that. He is the true king of the realm of the dead.
Damn, but he's not in the top
Then
5.
there is Zoe, the aspect
Fucking
of
Zoe.
Twilight, who would rank even above someone like Kale, simply because the Twilight is that powerful. But also, it is the Twilight that currently holds the reins to Aurelian's soul. That's why she would be above the rest. Then there is Bard. Now, while Bard is not really a fighter and he doesn't hurt anyone, Bard are the first sounds the cosmos ever produced. He is on the same level of something like Aurelian's soul. He is simply a pure cosmic energy. But unlike Soraka, he didn't bind himself to a mortal form. He just visited Runeterra, and he didn't want to scare people, so he borrowed some items from a traveling theater. He is still a pure celestial being. And around him, I would rank Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks?
As
What
far
the
as we know,
fuck?
Fiddlesticks is the primal demon. He is the dark force that is moving the entirety of Runeterra. He is the source of the legend of the 10 kings. The 10 kings where one king consumed the rest. So it is possible that once there were 10 demons, but Fiddlesticks consumed the rest. He is the primal evil. And no, the Scarecrow is not Fiddlesticks. The demon is inside the Scarecrow, and he's just using it as a vessel. So
Oh,
remember, Fiddlesticks, first of 10, Fiddlesticks, end of men. And then we have Aurelian Soul, the Starforger. You know, a technical god. Because he has the ability to actually forge stars around which you form planets. You couldn't get more godly than that. However, even Aurelian is not the most powerful. Because it was confirmed, everyone in reality...
Nah, I need my shit back. I need my shit back,
dog.
bro. Give my shit
Nah,
back.
dog.
Nah, give my
Nah,
shit
dog.
back.
Gonna hold?
I'm gonna wait till he presents that.
Yeah, present it, bro.
They already showed Aurelian Soul.
No, he's got the Aurelian soul.
But this
Oh,
one more
I
the
got
time.
something
I
else.
see. It's crazy that Fiddlesticks, first of all, is next to Aurelian Soul. Like, that's actually
crazy.
insane.
What's even
That's actually insane.
what's even crazier is how I got manipulated out of it.
What do you mean get manipulated? No,
it's all
dog.
good. Let's run it
No,
back.
it's crazy.
Let's see who number 1 is. Come on.
It's crazy. Why would you think that? You got manipulated.
Yeah,
bro.
that's crazy. But
It
it's
is.
also crazy that, yeah, I mean, I understand Aurelian Soul's like powerful, but I feel like the fact that he got like tricked and they have like control over it, it seems like that would kind of change things.
It kind of
But
holds his power back a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like that kind of contains him, and it's like those people are controlling where he decides to put his energy, so he can't actually do what he wants to do. So yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. But I guess do you put like a city? You put the city of Targon on the list? I guess. Like I don't know. I guess that wouldn't make any sense. Interesting shit.
I don't even want to see the last one.
Reality has to meet the end, and Aurelian's soul is no exception. Even he
Let's
can't avoid it.
go.
He stole that from me, by the way.
I
Everybody.
didn't
Of
steal
all the
it.
champions ranked according to their power, according to their lore.
Okay.
It was quite a longer video than I expected, but you know, we had to do it. It
Yeah.
was inevitable. Of
Yep.
course, if you don't agree with something, feel free to argue with us in the comment section.
Hell
The comment
yeah.
section is
Same.
gonna be quite the battle of mains anyway.
Yeah,
But remember, we spent 4 hours on stream with about 1,200 people talking about this.
Facts.
I really think this list is really fair. But you know, the lore is ever changing. The Sentinels of Light were a proof of that. So,
And
who knows where
more
Thresh is gonna
champions
land.
too.
Yeah, this is before Thresh even finished his story or anything. So yeah, who knows at this point where everything's supposed to land. Yeah, I like that we talked about it throughout the video too, because I feel like I got most of the things that I wanted to say. I do have some people I got to look up. I got to look for that Echo comic. I don't know if that's just like a fan-made thing, if that's like an actual physical comic somewhere, but I need that. You see, we got the Ash, the Lux. We got the Realms of Runeterra book here. That Lux book was hard. Oh, that Lux book was hard to find. I'm not gonna lie, very hard to find. Yeah, man, that's really all I got. Great video, informative as always. Necrit is a goat. Appreciate you. A lot of information. I really want to know your guys' comments though, because this is outdated by what, 3 or 4 years? It's outdated by 3 years now.
Damn.
Yeah. And now that we have like canon universes and stuff like that, and now that just Arcane alone has changed so much. You know what I mean? Like Victor's place and everything based off how powerful he was in Arcane. He was already powerful, but Arcane, you know, kind of really made him a different entity. You know what I mean? He's going back in time and shit like that, and given. Yeah, that alone is insane.
You got
Same as
Mbessa and then Mel in there now.
I was gonna say, even with Echo, like changing the amount of time that he can change, does that like increase his power to still keep it the same? You know, how do we gauge that? Because, yeah, I mean, he was underneath
Oh, Graves.
Graves. Yeah. Certain people like Graves, I'm like, I feel like Echo's more powerful than Graves. Like Graves would do with the shotgun.
What the?
Right. I'm like, even if he shoots the gun, we watched Echo get blown up by an explosion, and then rewind mid-explode, like right when it happens. You know what I mean? He had his hand on the thing, so I feel like, I don't know. Even if he does get shot, unless it's specifically a headshot, like him against Caitlyn, it's like, okay, you know, maybe, you know, but like him against Graves, buckshot.
Like even then, I know Caitlyn is super strong with the gun.
Yeah.
She got a good shot.
She
or
does have
whatever.
hand-to-hand combat too, which is
That too, but it's not. I don't think it's like super lethal to the point where she hanging in there with like.
I don't either, because I feel like once she loses that gun, like even her against
Mbessa.
Vi, I mean, like just
yeah,
Caitlyn
Vi.
against Vi, like putting Caitlyn above Vi, I was like, she does have long range, so I'd give her that. But once she loses that gun,
That's it.
I don't know. Who knows, man? Who knows?
At least the bottom row is kind of fishy. The top, like I understand. Like you know
The
what I
top row, yeah. Once it gets to that, then it becomes more distinct. Like we're talking about gods and more powerful beings and void creatures, like partway up there, and So, yeah. What do you guys think, though? That's what this is really about, is to get well informed by the community. So, we appreciate you guys. We do have our Patreon, so we've been dropping a lot of content on there. We just now finally caught up with all of our animes and all of our different shows that are releasing currently. So yeah, you can have all that content, and now we're actually able to drop things a week ahead, a couple weeks ahead, and stuff like that. So if you check out right now, actually, there'll probably be League cinematics that are already uploaded to that platform because we recorded a couple in advance. So yeah, go and check that out. Obviously, our League stuff, a lot of times it is uncut anyways. I realize with like Worlds and some things like that, they might cut some things, so we'll try to put that on there. But for the most part, if you want to find any other of our content and get it ahead of time, it will be on.
Yeah, you might catch me sleeping on that motherfucker.
Jeez.
All right, y'all. Appreciate the gifts one last time.
Of course.
Happy
Appreciate it
holidays,
100%.
everyone.
Yep. And
Hey,
until
Merry
then,
Christmas
we will
for sure.
catch all y'all next time.
All right, y'all. Much love. Peace.